I've borrowed categories from my friend Luke Brotherton, who happens to also be a theologian. It's very helpful to know a few of those. Like what he calls tragic time, that experience of time when things come undone and whatever has happened is world altering. Tragic time feels almost slippery, like you cannot believe the world is still spinning because yours has stopped. And yet, somehow, experience of joy can still catch you off guard. Joy is sneaky in that way. It doesn't discriminate between tragic time and ordinary time. It's not a joy we can choose because that would often mean ignoring the reality of our heartbreak or circumstances. It just happens. Somehow, some way, showing up uninvited even in the most unlikely of situations. The Gospel of Luke introduces us to Elizabeth, who became pregnant after many, many years of infertility, well into her old age. Her husband, Zechariah, even reacted in utter disbelief when the angel foretold the birth of the child they had long ago given up hope for. When Elizabeth was 6 months along, she was visited by her beloved cousin, Mary, who too had just learned of her own miraculous pregnancy. Elizabeth's unborn baby leapt with joy at the sound of Mary's voice. Elizabeth, filled with the Holy Spirit, rejoiced at the great gift Mary carried. Elizabeth was likely surprised by the visit of her cousin. It is not like she could text when she was on her way. And even more surprised by her showing up unmarried and pregnant. But those circumstances were not the cause of the joy that Elizabeth and her soon to be baby boy felt at her arrival. Their reaction was caused by the presence of God, of that new life that was growing inside of Mary, despite the complicated situation that surrounded her pregnancy. Both women were experiencing the seemingly impossible. They could have both responded in disbelief and unhope, but instead they were filled with the surprising presence of joy. This story reminds us that joy is not the absence of fear or disbelief, or uncertainty or sorrow. In fact, joy exists despite all of the reasons why it shouldn't. In the week ahead, we will devote ourselves to learning more about how to recognize the gift of joy found in the presence of God. Regardless of what is happening in our lives, joy can and does break in. Joy is the sign and reminder that God is still working, still loving, still fulfilling God's promises. So let's put ourselves in the path of joy this week, shall we?